Welcome to the Business Success Strategies with Adrian McLean. This is a 30-minute interview with successful business people who have been able to achieve amazing results with growing a business. Business Success Strategies is proudly sponsored by The Speaker's Practice and adrianmclean.com, helping business owners with marketing and promotions with a specialty with public speaking. Enjoy today's Business Success Strategies interview.
Thanks for joining us for this Business Success Strategies interview. The aim of this 30-minute interview is to find out from highly successful experts approaches for marketing and growing a business. It's wonderful today to have Dr. Ana Melikian join us today. Ana is the founder of Tech Tips for Coaches and loves to help business owners to achieve their big goals. Ana has a PhD in psychology and is passionate about helping purpose-driven creative entrepreneurs with online marketing and understands the importance of working on mindsets in order to succeed. Ana is an elite level Book Yourself Solid certified coach and co-founded More Clients, More Fun, where they develop leading-edge technology for using LinkedIn strategies for business development to land high-value clients. In 2018, Ana launched Tech Tips for Coaches, a very affordable membership site designed to help coaches, consultants, trainers, and speakers to navigate the online world and market their services online with ease and joy. Thanks so much for being with us, Ana.
It's a pleasure to be here. So thank you for having me.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you with us. And look, this whole area of technology, online technology for marketing a business is such a big area. So we're going to try and unravel it a little bit today.
Perfect. Love it.
Would you like to just tell us a bit about yourself and your background and how it helps you with your technology side today?
Yes, and that makes me think about something that most people will not know. In Europe, that is very different from the United States, and I'm not sure how it is in Australia there, but in Portugal, where I'm from originally, and many other countries in Europe, when we go to college, to the university, we have to decide from the get-go what is our major. And when we apply to a specific institution, we are deciding our major. So that is even more important than with the place that we end up studying. And my top two choices was, number one, psychology. Yeah. Number two, electronic and telecommunications.
Oh.
So I can say since very early, as a young adult, I had that two loves that I didn't knew exactly. I like people. I liked because I always thought that people were the more incredible puzzle to solve and very interesting because of that. And psychology was my way of making sense of people.
Yeah.
And there was something also for me magic about the electronic, the telecommunication, the computers, because I'm very, in some ways, left brain organized, and is that part. And I find was easy for me at that time was when the computers were starting, the personal computers were starting, and was fascinating for me, all that technology and how could we learn. And another tool to communicate. I always had the passion of communication. So I think then I was accepted in my first choice, so I became a psychologist by training, and only when I moved into the United States is that I transitioned to become a life coach. That is very related with psychology. And when I was facing with the challenge, because I was wanting to have an online business, I was facing with the challenge of how to attract clients, that I started to learn about the marketing and sales, and especially in the digital world, and how technology can help on all these things. And from life coach, I became a business coach. And through the Book Yourself Solid system that you are so familiar with, because you also are a certified coach in the system, I became enjoying helping other people develop their marketing system for their services. And in the work one-on-one, in the group work, I was finding that what gets people to procrastinate a lot is technology. So because that's something that comes easy for me, I start to develop resources for them. And in 2018, I decided why not bring that together in a very affordable resource that is tech tip for coaches.
Yeah, because it is, there are so many choices of technology or platforms, and everyone has its own little nuance, and it is certainly I suppose out of some experience I might add that it is a point of procrastination.
Totally, because there are so many options, and each time they seem to multiply even more. That I can say out of I'm not familiar with all of them, but I'm familiar with enough of the more popular ones to be able to tell what is the best solution for different people, because that is also a factor to enter in consideration. Depending where you are in your business, you are going to need different things.
Yeah.
And you can start most of the things with free services, and then slowly, as your income increases from your business, then add other stuff. So it really, my advice, I always like to know a little bit where people are in terms of their business development, what are the resources that they have in order to advise the best solution for them.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's get started, because the primary online tool that really is essential for businesses in 2019 or any time moving forward is your customer relationship management tool. So can we talk about a bit about CRMs, and you know, there's a wide choice of them, and which ones do you recommend and see as a good starting point? And you know, what are some of the values out of and benefits out of some of the paid platforms?
Yeah. So I like so CRMs, that is usually the name that we refer to them, client relationship management softwares. It's a very, very helpful tool, but not everybody needs one. And then there is also the email marketing management systems, that sometimes we have CRMs that also are email marketing systems. And sometimes you have them very separate. But so the first question that I will invite people to think about is, what do they need and for what? Because sometimes we jump too fast on the tool without clarifying the needs, that what is the tool for, in other words.
Yeah.
So imagine a scenario of somebody that is a coach consultant working with, let's say, if they have 10 clients, they are book solid, and most of their work is one-on-one. And maybe they want to keep a mailing list, but they are not putting at this moment not too much emphasis in their mailing list. Is something that they consider more in the future. Most of their bread and butter are one-on-ones. So that we can call scenario A, or case A. And we can have another scenario that will be another coach and consultant that they are maybe launching a book or preparing to launch a book, and they want to build the book to have a mailing list to launch the book, maybe do a program associated with the book, and so forth, to grow a lot in terms of programs. Yeah. So in first case A, they really need a lot of tools to help them communicate one-on-one.
Yeah.
The one-on-one, even the nurturing of the leads of the potential clients is a lot done in one-on-one. Yeah. Case B, is a lot what we call one-to-many. They want to become the experts in their field. They want to build a list, and they want to have tools to communicate one-to-many, build the relationship, automation relationships one-to-many, and they have like almost an automation of what we call the sales cycle. So they have different needs. For the first case A, I will say, depending where they are in their business, but maybe their CRM in the beginning can be a good organized Excel spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love technology, but I still have, for my VIP kind of one-on-one clients and leads that are less than 100 people, my core network, again, less than 100 people, the Excel that I can see everything in one page, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I find the system that is easier and low manutention to keep. And if it's easy and low manutention, we are going to be using it more. So that is the reality.
Can I just ask, with using an Excel spreadsheet, and this is sort of getting down into the real nitty-gritty of it, do you put one client per column and then register? Because one of the things that's nice with the CRM is to keep a running tally of touch points.
Yes.
So do you do it on a one column per client? Or
more, I do it but for instance, I still use this because I use as a CRM tool, but I use the spreadsheet for the leads. So for instance, I go to a conference, I meet people that we have a chat, or meet people in LinkedIn that I start to communicate with, and I see that there is potential there to be a one-on-one work. I put them in my leads prospects spreadsheet, and let me just, I can just even say the columns that I have there. And even, for instance, to strategical partners that in the online world we call them the GVs, I also use a spreadsheet because it's a limited number of people. Yeah. So when I start to communicate back and forward, and I think there is some potential there, I have a column that is leads, and then by row I put the names.
Right.
And then when I qualify the lead, when I have already conversations with that person and say, okay, this will be an ideal client, it goes to I just move the name to the column of qualify lead. Right. And then I call it a prospect when we are already starting to have a conversation that is more near or what is a sales conversation. So I move that name from the qualify lead to prospect. Right. And then if after that conversation, they ask me, okay, so let's work together, how much that will be. So I will put a number, I send a quote, and again, I move them to the quote column. And then if they say, okay, let's start, but they didn't pay yet, is what we call the forecastable. I almost sure that they are going to close, but the money is not in the bank. And there is a column of close when the money gets into the bank, and I want that client. So I have these very stages. These are typical stages of a typical sale process of B2B. Yeah. And I just move the name from one column to the other, and I also track. So it's the name, and I track where that lead came from. If that lead came from networking, if it was a past client, if it's a past client that is coming back, goes very quickly from the first conversation to the close. So the name can go from one column to the last column very quickly. If it comes from speaking, from video engaging like these interviews, from LinkedIn, or from referrals. Because that way I can look back and see where I should invest more time, because are the ones that convert more in terms of one-on-one leads. Yeah. And some of them never leave. They say, well, they were ideal clients, but they never progress to a sales conversation. And that is the reality. But that is how I keep that small, the numbers that I need for my one-on-one work in the sales cycle. But I like the spreadsheet because it's one place I look and I know how many people are there and where I have to put more energy and what is the priority. For the clients, because when we start to have loads of clients, the spreadsheet then is more difficult to keep it in a spreadsheet, to be honest. Right. And there is where I use for many years Coaches Console. That is a platform designed for coaches in mind. That is very easy to keep all the contact information, to keep the notes from the interviews. So it's totally designed to have everything that a coach needs to keep. And there are several solutions out there. But the thing is that when you start to use a solution that you like and you start to have a lot of information there, it becomes very difficult to move to another platform.
Yes.
Because, yes, they let us, most of these systems, most of the CRMs out there allow us to export like addresses, names through an Excel spreadsheet that then we can import in a new system. But then things like notes is where they draw the line and then we can lose a lot of precious information. So for a CRM, we have to think very careful which CRM are we going to choose. Because once, it's like buying a house. Once we buy that, yes, we can move, but it's a process to move all the information that we put over there. But I know I have clients that they use things as Evernote to organize. They have the clients and the notes of the sessions. Yeah. Or even we can use Google Docs to have a folder. Imagine a folder, active clients, another folder, past clients, and then under a folder of clients. And then the active clients, you can have then a folder for each of the clients. And then under that folder, you can have a document that is session notes. And every time that you have a session, you put that on the top. And you even is a Word doc, a Google document that you can even use like the indexation. So you can put like a headline for the date of the session. And then you can create an index that at the top is always update all the sessions. And you just click on and you can go to the note very quickly. Yeah. So there are ways of doing it very effectively with free tools too.
What about the platforms like Insightly and HubSpot?
Yes. Yes, I use, and all of these, for instance, we are speaking a lot of scenario A, when we need to keep that one-on-one communications flowing in a very effective way, and really the fortune is in the follow-up. We leave loads of money on the table because we are not following up effectively, and a CRM on the one-on-one communication can help us with this. Yeah. My CRM system at the moment, I use Contactually for a long time, mainly when they really did some features that were very friendly to the Book Yourself Solid system, and I love it. Yeah. Then they changed focus because they found themselves as a company that where they were gaining more traction was real estate agents, and they start to specialize, and they dropped the things that we had there of the Book Yourself Solid. So I got mad with them and I let them go. And I transitioned to Insightly, that I love because the entry price is very reasonable. You can start even with the free option. They have a very reasonable free option. And then I went to the pay one because you can have more customized fields. And I like that customization that the system allows us. But it's still a very affordable CRM. We are speaking about maybe $20-$30 per month. So because we have to see how the systems that we are bringing in our business, then that becomes the systems that we count on them, then they add up. So we have to see how much we can do for free, and if we are paying for something, if we are getting return of investment. So I love Insightly, possibly is the one that I recommend because I use and because the starting price is very, very reasonable. HubSpot is really an amazing system too. and they also offer, they have a free option. But what they are trying to attract us is for their full suite of things. That is a very good and amazing solutions that they have online that allows from the one-on-one to the one-to-many kind of marketing. Yeah. But when we are on that level, it's a quite expensive tool of the one-to-many. Yeah. Systems like Infusionsoft, that now is they changed their name to Keep, also is something that allows to do very, very well the one-to-many and also the one-on-one, because the way that they are structured. But I found that sometimes I got lost. I use Infusionsoft for about 10 years. I love it for the one-to-many. For the one-on-one, I thought I lost track of people easily. And possibly there are people that use it in a better way that they don't lose track of but I was losing track, so I prefer to have a separate system for the one-on-ones and for my core network, and a system for the one-to-many. And if we are speaking the one-to-many, that scenario B, that you have like a coach consultant that is launching a book and want to build that platform, that list. They even can start when they are writing the book, when they are thinking in the book, if they start just, or they are speaking out there and they want to collect leads, they can start with something free like MailChimp. Yeah. It's a great system to start to collect the leads in their website, to start to collect leads in their speaking engagements, and to communicate with them at least once a month. Because if you don't communicate with your list at least once a month, what is the point of having a list, honestly? Yeah. But when you are, and you can do a lot with MailChimp, but if you are speaking more in automating your sales cycle and have more a sequence of things, you can go to things like ActiveCampaign, or Infusionsoft, or the one that I'm using for the one-to-many communication in my business is Katra. That is from the same company that developed Webinar Jam, and they have this. It's Katra and New Kajabi. They really try to offer a comprehensive solution for the one-to-many, from the membership site to the sales pages to the forms, to the help desk. They really try and I'm liking it a lot, I have to say. So, but again, and for people out there listening, if all these names is getting, oh my gosh, that is why I have Tech Tip for Coaches, because it's overwhelming, all these names, and where I am, it really depends of what are your goals are and where you are in your business. And it's possible to get some systems is easier to upgrade. Other systems, like I said, the CRMs, when you start to put a lot in the notes, can be an headache to upgrade to another system. Other systems is really not so difficult, and sometimes it's even a good exercise because we clean the house, so to speak.
Yes. Well, you raised so many points. I use Nimble.
Yes, also users of Nimble, they love it and they speak highly of it.
Yeah, so Nimble will remind, and I'm Sure Insightly is the same. They remind you when you need to get in contact with the contact, which is a really nice feature. So if you haven't spoken to them for a month, then there's a little red tag to say, you've got something.
Give you a nudge. Okay, it's time to connect with that person again.
And they connect the social media platforms to and they have the notes following. So these platforms can be really useful just in following the touch points.
And the main thing is, like you say, is to pick something that we enjoy using and that we use. Because software in itself, these tools in itself, they don't do a miracle. No. It's not just because we pay even an expensive one. It's not going to transform our business if we don't have other things in place.
Yes, it is actually the matter of checking into your CRM every day and just, putting it into your routine. That's for sure.
Totally. Because even with all that features of the reminders, if we don't have our house organized, what happens as human beings that we are, yes, we can have these like the notifications. When we start to have loads of notifications and we don't do anything, we start to develop, it's like the snooze alarm in the morning. We start to ignore it. And almost, more 5 minutes. And we sleep very deeply in that 5 minutes because we get conditioned to ignore that. And then they will not work for what we want them to do.
Oh, that's such a good point. Yeah. And it happens and it's, it's a matter of building it into your routine. Now, can we go, we've touched on email management systems, but I'd like to chat a bit about these a bit more because they're really important for connecting one to many. And there are a lot of email management systems out there. I'm still happy with MailChimp. It has just the normal newsletter feature. Now they're introducing landing pages or sales pages and postcards and some other things, and they're very useful. So, yeah.
And it's one of the platforms, one of the systems out there that I have to tip my hat to them, that they try to be friendly integrating with everything else. Right. So they really try to be very so it's a good platform. And while it only when you start to feel that, I would like to do this campaign and I would like to have these conditions, if they click this, if they click that, then is the time maybe to think about upgrading to another system. Right. But if depending on the business model, if there are not the need for that kind of more artificial intelligence kind of thing, it's an amazing system and very affordable.
Yeah. And I mean, you're touching on an important point here with these, with moving into the future, so to speak, and artificial intelligence. Some of the platforms are getting really clever in the way that they can handle information.
Yes. But the main point is, again, I used to, even in group work, when people are thinking about, having a sign up, if they are even in the States that they have a website, they put a sign up there, and they maybe have 2 or 3 people signing up per week in their website. At that level, what my advice is, follow up 101 personally with those leads, because it's how you are going to develop the language that connect, and you are going to develop the language then when you start to have 10 leads per day, 20 that you cannot follow up anymore at that 101 level, but the language that work with your tribe to put in that email that is going to go automatically out.
Yeah.
And even you already are using something as MailChimp that can make that automatic in a sequence of emails after they join, to engage them, to let them know about your work. You can start, and MailChimp allow you to do that. You can segment by asking a question. Do you fit better this profile or that profile? What are the informations that are more relevant to you, A or B? And then you can put them in segments. I think that is the name in MailChimp. You have a list, and then you can segment the list. And then if you are doing something that is more relevant to segment A, you are going just to send that information to that group, and to segment B, that is something else. So you can start, but if you are not using that in MailChimp, don't go to a more complex thing, because you are not going to be using it.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really good point, because some of these platforms are so complex you don't know where to start with them, and really the basic programs are a great starting point.
Totally, and focus, because it's very easy that then, we have to learn this, we have to learn. It's the next shining object. Yeah. And we lose, mainly for solopreneurs, It's very easy to find, that excuse to procrastinate, and we are not focused on we have to bring income. That is the priority. We have to keep the money flowing in our business, clients coming, serving the clients, and give our sales cycle with more people. But keep the systems as simple as possible, because we have our more precious asset is our time. Then when we start to grow our business, we can bring a virtual assistant, a VA in, we can start to grow the team, and then maybe we can start to get a little bit more complex systems. But even when we grow, we always should ask, what are the essential elements here to make this work?
Yeah, and that's getting down to using the platforms for the job as opposed to getting confused in all the software.
Yeah, it's the same thing. For instance, a great example is a website. Oh, we need to have a website. We need to have a website. Yes, it's true that people are going to Google our name. It's true that it will be great to have a website, but we can have a very professional looking website that is one page.
Yeah.
Just one page into a little bit, a nice photo of ourselves with a nice intro and a way for people to contact. That can be the website.
Yeah. And Google have a very nice free platform on their Google My Business. It's a nice place, and it's free.
Yes, there are ways, or even using, if your target market, for instance, is on LinkedIn, your LinkedIn profile can be your website where you send people to. And even if you have a domain for your business, your name, you can forward it to your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
And you can do the same with Facebook if your target market is more Facebook kind of peeps. So it's easier to, we have to invest in a custom-made website. I did that. I built my own website, and then I pay was one of my first big investments in my business, a custom-made website, but takes months to have it ready. And then after it's getting ready, it's there. If you don't have the other elements of our business in place, we are not going to see the return of the investment. And the time that we spend doing that, if we are on the phone connecting with people, I know that nowadays that I could have closed more clients by connecting with people and building the relationships.
It's all about the people and connecting with, building the trust, really.
Yeah. So what when I speak about systems and how, for instance, somebody really starting from, they left the corporate job, they want to become coaches and consultants. For most people, what they need is a pen and a pencil to take notes, and still works in a folder, still works very well. If you want to get fancy, Evernote or a Google Docs, and something to communicate, a phone, Zoom, a tool of communication, and a bank account to receive the money, and maybe PayPal to make the easy to send the invoice and to get the money in the bank. Start there and start to be on the black and make it profit. And then you can invest in systems, in other more complex systems.
Oh, that's great advice. Thank you. Anna, we're just coming to the end of our interview, but I just thought I'd ask you, in our introduction, there was part of your overview is that you're really keen on helping entrepreneurs with mindset and the importance of mindset in our entrepreneurial journey. I just wondered if you could give us a little bit of insights into the importance of mindset and how it helps us with using our online tools, or connecting with our clients or prospects. So I just thought I'd ask you a bit about your advice there.
Sometimes we are our more powerful resource, and we are our more powerful obstacle at the same time. So when we start to spinning our wheels, so to speak, is a great red flag to ask ourselves, what can I change here to stop spinning my wheels? And usually change starts by ourselves and by our mindset, even with the technology. If we have the mindset, the frame of reference, the glasses to which we see the world, that see, I'm not good with technology, this is going to be, I cannot do this. Then with that attitude, that way of approaching technology, is going to be a nightmare. And you learn how to read, you learn how you can, how do you say, if you have to look for the right people to teach you in terms of personality, in the way that they know how to explain things to you, because the way that the baby boomer learns technology is different than the way that the new generation is learning technology, because they are playing with it from too young sometimes. Yeah. So it's totally different, but it's a skill that can be learned. But you have to see it, you have to have what we call a grow mindset about. It's not, I cannot do, I don't know how to do this yet, but I can learn it. They have to be open to learning. Yeah. So that is one of the things. So, and sometimes even for the business, most coaches and consultants, this is not their first professional life. This is their reinvention many times of their in professionally. And they are quite confident about their skills as a coach, and they know that they can help people, that can help organizations, and they are quite confident about that. Usually what they are not so confident about is on the marketing, digital marketing, and the sales process, and how to sell on in this. But again, if they see that, I was not born with the entrepreneur gene, I was not born with the gene, I will never be a good salesperson, that is what we call a fixed mindset. And it's almost a self-fulfilled prophecy. You are going to keep not being good at it if you don't believe that you can improve it, that you can learn new skills. And again, sales and marketing are skills that you can learn. So that is what people have to shift them. And sometimes it's just a question of perspective. You don't need to go 180 degrees. You just a couple of degrees makes all the difference.
That's such great advice. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Anna, would you like to just to finish, give us a bit of an overview of your business and how you help entrepreneurs?
So if people are curious and they want to have tools that help them, mainly if they have an online business, if they are solopreneurs, is to that I'm focusing in all the resources there that I'm developing. You can go to tips for coaches.com, and you will see the information of my program there. Is a membership program, very affordable. You can do it by year or monthly, and you'll have access to a toolbox of resources. Things like, is my internet fast enough to run a Zoom webinar, to how to set up a Facebook page. So you have all that tutorials with videos, with step-by-step instructions. And then you also have access to a group where you can post your questions 24/7. And then also there is office hours. Almost every week I do an office hour where people can come. I share my screen, they can share their screen, and I really enroll people to help them to solve whatever challenge they have in their online business. And the nice thing of a home office, we have now is my little dog doing is requiring attention. But
It's been very
the wonderful things of being in our home environment.
Yes, that's right. Thank you so much, Anna, for being with us today and for all your advice. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Yes, my pleasure, and thank you for having me.